Going to hear from both coaches here coming up, Steve. Houston's coming into Indy. You steal this one and go home 2-3, they'd have probably felt like they'd be all right.
It might be good that it's a short week.
This is a tough one. All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
6G. Network.
Reese Davis here, host of College Game Day, helping fans make signs for the show. Let's try this. That's better.
Feels like a sling ad.
I know.
Watch college football for less.
Oh, sister of mine, I got you this.
The new iPhone 13 Pro?
It's on Verizon 5G.
I can't believe you got me this.
Yes, Verizon is giving one to everyone when they trade in their older damaged phone.
Oh, so like every sister can get this?
Yeah.
Every aluminum signing installer?
Why not? Every doula. They would have to. Every customer, new and old, can get iPhone 13 Pro on us. Because everyone deserves better. Everyone, horse trainers,
Manicurists!
you get the new iPhone. We're alone.
I know.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
NHL opening night. Penguins, Lightning, Kraken, Golden Knights. Tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN+.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Here's a hint about how to make working from home less stressful and more comfortable. Make the switch to X-Chair. No matter where you put the amazing X-Chair, it instantly becomes the most comfortable place in any space. Infinite side-float recline and dynamic variable lumbar support make the X-Chair a customer favorite at home and work. Don't forget, the X-Chair lets you customize for the same measure of amazing comfort no matter what your size. Join the thousands of others who've discovered the joy of relaxing workdays. Now we've integrated penetrating heat and massage into our patented dynamic variable lumbar support. Once someone experiences our XHMT heat and massage chair, it's almost impossible to get them out of it. But don't worry, you don't have to share because you can get $100 off any model on our website. Plus, for a limited time, you can also receive a free footrest. Just use the code on your screen. Your new normal? Incredibly comfortable. Call or click to order today and receive a 30-day risk-free trial and $100 off.
This episode of SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt is presented by T-Mobile.
SportsCenter from Washington, D.C. I'm Scott Van Pelt. This is one of those shows where we're going to be on for a while. I don't know how long, but we've got significant stories. Paul Gutierrez will join us from Vegas. More on the Raiders situation, the news, how it was received in the building. The Red Sox, the first team to advance to a league championship series. Late dramatics at Fenway. Highlights and reaction in a bit. We have a pig trophy in Bad Beach. There was some barbecue that was involved, which sounds like fun. And the Ravens. What a comeback. Ryan Clark will show us how they did it. To the highlights we go. Baltimore against its former team in the bank on a Monday night. Early on, the Colts go to 28. Little swing pass here, trying to pick up a first down on 3rd and 15. Instead, Steve, it turns into a touchdown. That was a big play
For you.
for the Colts and others. That's the longest screen play in the NFL since 2017. And the Colts were able to get Taylor loose, avoiding 7 Ravens there. And he's gone. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense slow to get going. Nothing on the board. Got the 2-minute warning. Mark Andrews gets deep. Tight end's always open. Steve always tells us that. Marquise Brown. Hollywood. No. Cannot connect here. The Ravens would settle for a field goal. The 3 points in the first half, their lowest under Lamar Jackson. Just, I don't know, lethargic. They're looking past the Colts. Got the Chargers coming in next week. Whatever the case, they're in a hole, and it's about to get deeper. Wentz takes a shot and finds Michael Pittman Jr. deep. Jr., call that man senior. because he bullies the Ravens and the secondary. That was grown man behavior there. Pittman, I'll take this. Get off me, Marlon. That's a big fella, too. Colts missed the extra point. The rough week for kickers continues. All right, here come the Ravens. Devin Duvernay gets close. First and goal. Lamar Jackson, ball's on the ground. Darius Leonard's on the move. He pitches it before he hits the deck to Isaiah Rodgers. And Steve, look at that speed. He runs away from everybody. My goodness. Show him your taillights. But there was a lot to look at. First of all, was Jackson down? No, he was not. Ball was in the process of coming out before the knee hit the ground. But it was an illegal forward pass on that touchdown. So the Colts keep the ball, but don't get the touchdown. At least not yet. Mo Alley Cox for 24. Then Taylor, looking right, turns it upfield, and he's in for his second touchdown of the day. Colts 22-3 after a missed two-point conversion. 22-3. It's now 25-9 in the fourth. What a one-handed grab from Mark Andrews. Good for 27 yards. Now going with some pace. Jackson, Andrews, touchdown. Got to go for two. Love the scheme. I believe Greasy called this one out in the flat. All right, one-score game. Rodrigo Blankenship was dealing with a hip issue, Steve Levy said on the broadcast. This was a Calais Campbell issue. He's a giant human. I'm a big person. Steve, you're big. You stand next to him?
Oh.
Feel small.
Yes.
Big block in a lot of different ways because now the Ravens have an opportunity to tie. There's Hollywood Brown. They're getting closer. Now second and goal. All day. And there's Andrews again. But how many two-point plays do you have in the bag? And you've run so many plays down there close. They've got one left. And it's Jackson to Andrews again for the two-point conversion. They've erased the deficit. Now the Colts with a chance late. Zach Pascal, not much of a completion. But here, Devon Young gets a penalty for shoving Jack Doyle. He was retaliating. They didn't catch Doyle. They got the second guy. Now, what a pass from Wentz to Pascal. Now you've got a shot for Blankenship, and this one is left all the way. Like that tee shot, you can tell you got too much draw on it. It pulls left, and the Ravens have life. They win the toss, get the ball, touchdown wins the game. Jackson. There's Andrews again. Was it, Steve, 11 grabs?
11.
Now it's Latavius Murray. What a job the Ravens have done after all those injuries at running back to find professionals to put in the backfield.
Professionals.
Freeman had a big game, too, or had some big contributions, but this is the play of the night. The touchdown to Brown that wins the game. Jackson throws for 442, 4 touchdowns, and you see the completion percentage, insane. Incredible in the second half and overtime. Became just the third player over the last 40 years to throw for 304 touchdowns while completing 90% of his passes in a half. Jackson joins Donovan McNabb and Drew Brees, who did this in the first halves of game. All right, John Harbaugh. Last week he was asked about a rushing record, which came late, a little bit controversial. They didn't get that. That record did not extend. All anyone wants to talk about after this one is the incredible performance of their MVP quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
It's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, and it wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't like we came out just up and down the field. We had to overcome and fight through some things. He was under pressure. He created plays with his feet, threw the ball away when he had to throw it away. Then once we started going, when we were in that situation you're talking about, Jamison, we went into our fast mode, no huddle, 2-minute type mode. He just came alive, and all of our guys did. I mean, all the guys who made plays, and the offensive line. But it starts with Lamar, and he deserves the credit.
I just give them credit. I give them credit that, they kept fighting, and, they kept fighting and they made the plays. We've talked about this as a team all year long, that in the fourth quarter, we got to make plays. As coaches and as players, we got to make the right calls, and we got to make the plays in the fourth quarter. And they made a bunch of plays, and we didn't make enough. So we just got to learn from it and get better.
gutting loss because the Colts played awfully well for a lot of this game, but in the end, not enough to keep up with the Ravens. Ryan Clark is our guest every Monday night. And it's interesting. The Ravens have an identity, right? They want to run the ball. They got that record. But this game turns when they go fast, and there's one play in particular that you felt really pushed a button.
Well, listen, this is the play that starts it all, and it's to Hollywood Brown. If we go back 2 weeks ago against the Detroit Lions, he couldn't catch a cold, right? And he was having trouble finding the ball, tracking the ball, and finishing. But Lamar Jackson has gone right back to him. And here you're going to see a huge play by this team was what's called a sluggo. So you're going to get a control route here and a control route here. On the outside, we're going to get a dig here, and we're going to get a sluggo to get him up the field. We're going to get Hollywood Brown matched up one-on-one. Now, those two routes up top, they don't really go together, Scott. But look what we have. We got a new guy, right? Because at the corner, they now have some injuries. They're putting out some fresh meat. And you know who knows that? Lamar Jackson. So let's watch Lamar and his drop. Do the simple. Here, we're going to take it right here. Watch his eyes. His eyes right now, Scott, are going to be on this free safety. The reason being is he knows that this guy has to get to the middle of the field. And if they win on the outside, that's the only dude that can make a play. So here, we're going to let it run a little bit. Here, we're going to stop it right here. I'm only stopping it right here to show you one thing. If your feet are in a breakdance position as another guy is running up the field,
play the fight
that's
song.
Probably not good football.
Right.
So right now, strike up the band. And I know you only gave me one play, Scott, but I got one more because I want to show you how these two dudes do the simple one more time. Here, this is the easy play, right? Cover two in the red zone. We call it two red zone, two red. So you're going to have a guy out here. You have a guy out here, he's going to be in the flat. This is going to be the hook defender, and we got a cover two safety. So all they're going to get is a very simple two-man route. We're going to come here and hook up. We're going to go out. You know what? If I'm the coach, I'm saying to myself, hell yeah, we got them. They ran right into what we want to do. Because look at this. I'm waiting on you. Come out here. Come out here, Mark Andrews. Get this ball. Right now we got inside. We're right where we're supposed to be. Look at the eyes of Lamar Jackson. They're inside here, so that's going to move Darius Leonard to the inside, and we're going to watch Hollywood Brown just do the simple, not the 4-3 stuff, not the deep ball stuff. He's going to get right open in this spot. Look at Lamar Jackson. Feel him. The synergy gets right to him. There's a social media post on the airplane coming back from Detroit. And Lamar Jackson is sitting next to Hollywood Brown, and they're already watching film of the previous game, of the game against Detroit, because he says, we got to work because I'm going back to him. Last week, he makes a huge catch against the Denver Broncos for touchdown, and tonight, two of the biggest plays of the game.
When I'm an offensive coordinator, I want to show you my play. I got a float seam, Steve.
We heard about that earlier.
We invented a new play called the float seam. That's for another broadcast. All right, we've reached the portion of the year, Ryan, when we start using that word we use every year when we talk about the NFL, and that word is trust. Yes. Because Baltimore's now 4-1. We're not talking big trust. Mark Ingram doesn't play there anymore. Right. But you've got a number of 4-1 teams: Bills, Chargers, who come in to Baltimore on Sunday, and Baltimore. Of that trio, who do you trust?
Man, the Buffalo Bills. Right, and you look at early on in the season, right, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, a little bit rusty, they don't play well. But let's think about this defense since that point, the way that they've been turning the football over, the way that they've rushed the passer, and also Josh Allen now, right? Josh Allen is kind of in that sweet spot he was last year, talking a little bit about that arm arrogance, right? Rolling to your right, pushing the football down the field, rolling to your right, throwing the football. And we watched him last night run the football without any fear because he knew nobody from Kansas City was actually going to try to hit him hard. Josh Allen's playing at a high level, his defense is playing at a high level, and they've continued to build to this point. If there's a 4-1 team I trust the most, right now it's the Buffalo Bills.
I want to ask a quick one about, I go back to the old days. Jordan had to get, when he was with Chicago, right? You had the Pistons, you had the Celtics. The Pistons had to get through the Celtics, then the Bulls had to get through the Pistons. Right. How much does the Bills beating Kansas City, the way they beat them after facing them a couple times last year and losing a couple, how much does that win? I know it's just one of 17, or is it more?
You know what I think is huge about it? The way they beat them.
I agree.
Right? If they go in there and the game is tight and they make some plays late, or Patrick Mahomes does some things that don't necessarily work out, you think to yourself, Patrick Mahomes is going to play better than that, right? They'll make those plays. But last night was a drumming.
3 phases.
Right. You look at those two teams, one of those teams does not belong on the field, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And Andy Reid even said he thought that they'd win the game. He thought that they'd play better. So to get beat like that is trouble, and you have to have all the confidence in the world if you're the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes knows who he is. I'm not saying he left there doubting, but even him, he's saying, look, I got to ask myself if some of the stuff I'm doing is contributing to this. I thought that was an emphatic statement last night from Buffalo. As always, the time's appreciated, Ryan. Thank you.
Man.
All right, still to come here on SportsCenter. Red Sox were a win away from the American League Championship Series. Looked like they were going to cruise, but that Rays team does not go away easily. The highlights from Fenway. Ben Simmons in Philly. His coach says he's going to ask Woj what's going on. And you don't want to get burned in the barbecue bowl. The bad beats are on the way. SportsCenter from D.C. continues.
This episode of SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt is presented by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G network.